heavy,
bored.
And this idea of Nick, when he says at the end of chapter 3 here, everyone suspects himself of at least one of the cardinal virtues, and this is mine. I am one of the few honest people that I have ever known. What do we think? Is Nick Carraway honest?
I mean, I found him to be a trustworthy narrator. Except for, I found him to be a little bit egotistical at the beginning. In his own descriptions of himself, but as it went on, I think I trusted him as a narrator. Which surprised me because of statements like that.
And this is a technique, and I know there's lots of stuff said about Nick Carraway as narrator and scholarship over the last 100 years, but it's like, when you're reading a novel, one of the techniques you can use as a writer for a reader to experience is readers don't have a choice but to trust your narrator, right? If you're taking the novel seriously and engaging in it, reading it, you're trusting the person telling you the story. Even if it's a narrator.
You can intentionally create,
and then you can subvert that. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's
an
what I was
unreliable narrator, right?
You can subvert their expectations through that. So the narrator's telling you something, and then you show them something else, kind of thing. You can use that to your advantage, and it doesn't quite what happens here, but it's like along those lines. Just for the writers that the book people that are listening, with the structure of this.
Well, what do you mean? Because did you find him to be trustworthy? Or did you have a similar reaction to me where it was like you were skeptical at first and then less skeptical? Because I felt skeptical of him at first.
I didn't feel skeptical of him really at any time, besides maybe when he started talking very highly of himself like this. Is one of the few honest people that I've ever known.
Yeah.
It is interesting because I personally struggle with some of this too, whereas I really don't it's hard for me to not be honest about things. It eats me alive kind of thing, you know what I mean? I don't know if that has to do with how you're raised or whatever, if Catholic guilt, whatever it is, this kind of I can't willingly lie to people. It's very hard for me to do that kind of thing. So I get where he's he believes himself to be honest, but you can still lie to yourself, but right. Are there moments in here that we could point to where he's lying to himself? I think we could make an argument, but then I was then you go to the actual structure. When you're reading a book, you're buying in, you're being immersed into this person's world, into this world. You're creating a new world, even if it's fictional, right? Even if it resembles the real world, it's still a fictional kind of. So you just kind of roll with it. I'm just never as skeptical of narrators.
Well, yeah, he engages
I guess it's just naive.
Virtually
I guess I'm just
no
naive enough.
People-pleasing behaviors.
Yeah.
In this book, he is not, I don't know, putting on a charm for anybody or.
And he seems to be portrayed as forgetful. There's a few chapters where he starts them off with, "Oh, before I forget, this happened a couple weeks ago." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that scene in the apartment in the city when he is all that commotion going on between Gatsby, Tom, and Daisy, and he just sits there and goes, "Oh, I just remembered today's my birthday." Kind of thing. It's just oh, okay, dude, you forgot about it. Yeah, all right. But things like that, maybe a little disingenuous, but we can get nitpicky, but yeah.
Inner
resources, American resources.
Being bored?
Some activities are intentional, right?
It shows such a lack of gratitude for life. Bored. I aspire to boredom, I should say.
Bored. Heavy.
I am heavy.
Bored.
Has you the night sweats and the day sweats, pal? Pal, I do.